Hello, my friends. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, getting ready to clean out my freezer. And I had all these great things in here, so I said, you know what? It's time for a slow cooked oxtail soup. Yep, oxtails. I had them in the freezer, so I have them out now. And in addition to having other things in the freezer, I'm going to use those as well because it's trying to get the freezer cleaned out, not only just for Thanksgiving, but to ensure that, we're coming on to the end of the year. We want to get our freezers and our cabinets cleaned out. So I pulled out a few items and I had enough ingredients that this is going to be a Saturday slow cooked oxtail stew. So what I have is I actually purchased 4 packs of oxtails, and again, they were in the freezer. We're cleaning out the freezer on this beautiful Saturday. Wherever you are, I hope you are enjoying it. But these are actually oxtails that I picked up from ShopRite. I actually was going to go to farmer's market this morning, but I was a little bit tired, so I did pick these up, and they were in the freezer. So these are my oxtails that are from the freezer. These are a couple of packs of frozen green peppers, which I always keep because I love throwing them when I'm either making a soup or, just throwing it in for some chicken breast or whatever. So I always keep plenty of packs of frozen red and green peppers. Potatoes. ShopRite had a sale where if you spent a certain amount of money, you got a 5-pound bag of potatoes. And again, I don't really like white potatoes, but I said I'm going to get them and I'm not going to throw them out. So I'm going to cut those up and put them in as well. I've got some brown sugar here. I'm going to add to that. And I love this Grace Caribbean Tradition oxtail seasoning, which I'm going to use in my slow cooker. So with the potatoes, I've got some bay leaves here. I'm going to use those on the top. Stewed tomatoes, any kind of tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, whatever. These are actually a can of Italian packed tomatoes with a little seasoning. Again, I'm cleaning out the cabinet, trying to get things organized, not only for the holiday, but for at the end of the year. When you go through your cabinet, when it's time for those food drives, and you always find those foods that expired, a month before. Well, I'm trying to get rid of that stuff. Good morning, Vicki Lynn. Hello, Curtis. Is it morning? No, it's afternoon. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been busy all morning. Also in the freezer, I have a package of, these are actually the Bird's Eye steamable vegetables with the carrots, the corn, and the asparagus and beans. So I'm going to use those as well. I have this here, 32 ounces of Nature's Promise organic chicken broth. Now in the crock pot, you can use broth or you can use water or whatever it is that you have. But again, this is going to be quick. I mean, not quick, but it's going to be easy to throw all this in the crock pot. It's going to cook all night. About, let's say it's 2. I like to cook it at least 8 hours because I want the flavor of those oxtails to come through. So again, I'm using the Caribbean Traditions oxtail seasoning. And once this is done, I'm pretty sure I'm going to serve it over rice. But this is what I have now, along with the organic broth and the brown sugar. So let me know if you like oxtail stew and you have a recipe for oxtail stew. Please leave that in the link. I'm not going to give the full recipe now as far as what I'm using. I'm going to leave that for my blog. That's going to actually be probably next week's Friday Foodie feature. Again, as we prepare for Thanksgiving, I am trying to clean out my freezer and my cabinet. So I use these frozen vegetables that I always keep in the frozen vegetables. Sweet peppers, I keep those. Every time I see them, I buy a couple of packs. I keep them in there. Brenda, oxtails are good. You are definitely going to have to try. If you don't like oxtails, if you don't, you want to use regular beef, that's fine as well. But oxtails, I love because they are so flavorful. They used to be a very cheap cut of meat. However, with popularity, everything gets kind of expensive. So I got these at ShopRite. They were on sale, and I like them because they're smaller and meatier. You want to get the kind that has more meat and less fat. See, this has a little bit of fat on it, but this is all meat. Of course, that's the bone inside, but this is all meat. So that to me is definitely worth it. When you can get oxtails, again, I just buy them when I see them on sale, throw them in the freezer. They come in really nice sized pieces, but I like these from ShopRite. So I picked up 3 packs of those, threw them in the freezer. Now I'm cleaning out the freezer. So I've got a pack of, mixed peppers, a frozen pack of carrots. You can obviously you can get all these ingredients fresh, but again, now we're in Thanksgiving. We're trying to clean out our freezer, trying to clean out our pantries. Stewed tomatoes, Italian tomatoes, tomato paste, whatever. I use organic chicken broth, and of course, my seasoning of choice is Grace's Caribbean Traditions Oxtail seasoning, or you can create your own seasoning. A little bit of brown sugar. That little brown sugar gives it balances out the the salty taste. So that's great. I'm going to dice up these potatoes and then throw in these few bay leaves. And I'm going to throw this in the crock pot for about 8 to 10 hours. And then dinner will be tomorrow. This is for Sunday. Then I'm going to, put this whole crock pot in the refrigerator, let it marinate. So tomorrow I'll put it back in there and warm it up and serve it over rice. And it will be Sunday dinner at the Blake's house. So Brenda, Jesse, Curtis, Christy, everybody, Vicki Lynn, that's Coretta, hi. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday. Don't forget, I know people tell you, but don't forget tonight to set your clocks back an hour. We can sleep in a little bit later so that we won't be late for church. No excuse for being late to church tomorrow, right, Curtis? So this is Antoinette Blake, the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you really quickly on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday with my recipe for oxtail stew. Again, frozen, trying to get everything out of the freezer, trying to get everything out of the pantry before Thanksgiving, before the end of the year, just prepare for a new season. Oxtails, frozen veggies, potatoes, brown sugar, tomatoes, more frozen veggies, low sodium organic broth, oxtail seasoning, and it's all going to go in the crock pot for 10 hours. Head back over to my blog next week, www.delblogger.com, to get the full recipe. And until the next time, stay safe, stay smart, stay social, because I will see you in cyberspace. This is Antoinette Blake, the DE Diva, heading out. Have a beautiful day, and thank you guys for loving on me. Thomasina, Coretta, Christy, Brenda, Jesse, Curtis, and Vicki Lynn. Enjoy your day. See ya.